Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and in today's video, I wanted to be giving you guys my top 5 building tips here for chapter 2, and these building tips I feel like are going to be very important and something you guys are going to want to use in your everyday game when it comes to season 2 that I think is going to give you the best advantage possible in every single gunfight. And real quick, before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away V-Bucks every single Friday here on this channel. So if you guys want to enter that giveaway and win a chance to win 2,000 free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you guys do turn on those post notifications so you guys get notified for every single new video. And lastly, comment down below either your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account, and you guys will be automatically entered into the next giveaway. And also, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go down to the bottom, click on support a creator, type in my code. My creator code is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so here I want to get into the first building tip in this video that I think that's going to really help you guys out a ton. And these are going to be specifically for chapter 2, so it might be one or two things that I probably previously already covered and already talked about, but these things I've noticed myself that I've found to be the most effective building strategies and techniques when it comes to fighting people in chapter 2, because as you guys know, there's barely any mobility, so it is a lot of build fight on build fight, gunfight on gunfight. So improving your building is going to be very important and very essential, I feel like, just because it's a lot of gunfight on gunfight. You don't have a ton of mobility, a ton of extra items that you can use. So it's not really too much you can do other than to improve your accuracy, improve your building, and also improve your editing. So here with this first building technique, and this one's going to be super effective in a lot of situations, especially as you can see from my angle as I'm looking down. So what I'm doing is I'm building up, I'm placing a cone, and then I'm placing a wall to either my left or right. It really depends where the other player is. And if the other player is to my upper left, then I'm going to place a cone. Then I'm also going to place a cone. I'm also going to place a wall to that side. And of course, you wouldn't do this if a player is directly in front of you, but if they are above you to the left or above you to the right, this is something that you'd want to do for the sole reason that when they're up at that type of angle, if they're up to your upper right or your upper left, if they're looking down, they can easily just shoot out your ramp. So in order to counter this, all you have to do is to, after you place that cone to, protect the shots from above you, you place a ramp, or not a ramp, you place a wall to your right or to your left to try to shield them from shooting down your structure. And this is very good and something that you don't have to do this continuously, because usually in a situation, the other player is only going to be like 2 or 3 above you. So you only have to do this twice. It's not something that you have to continuously do, 5-6 stories up to get to the other player. So as long as you have this down to a decent amount, you should be good. It's not something you have to have down mastered to be able to pull it off in a game, just because you don't have to constantly be doing this every single fight, and you don't have to constantly be placing that wall to your side, because it can be a little bit tedious and it can be a little bit challenging from times, because it does, for me, it does throw off my movement a little bit, because when I place that wall to my right, as you can see, it kind of drags me over to the side, and that I feel like is probably the one way that it can mess up some of you guys and also messes up myself, because when you are placing that wall to your left or right while also trying to run straight at the exact same time, it gets a little shaky when it comes to your movement, and that can make it a little bit more challenging. But overall, I think it's a very important and good thing to use in this chapter. And so moving on to the second building tip in this video, and this is going to be a quick way to kind of go to either the right or left. And I'm going to show you guys, this one's actually really simple to do. It's not very hard, but it's something that I really don't see a lot of people use. And there's a lot of different variants as well that I'll show you that you can do on top of this that can make it even more effective in certain type of situations. So this is very effective. All you have to do is to build up, and you place a wall to your right or to your left, and then from that wall you place a ramp, and then you continue to build. This is really good, and for a few reasons. And one reason in particular, it could be this variant right here, is you're building up, and as you're building up, you're throwing up a ramp to the side. You can even throw a ramp at a cone, and this is very effective because if you have someone building up to your side, either your right or left, you can use this technique to kind of block them off and this is when you do block them off like this, the reason why I prefer to do this a lot of times in my games is because once you block them off from that sort of angle, they can't like place a ramp over you, they can't throw up a wall or they throw up a cone, because once you block them from that angle, they can't even touch you with any sort of builds. Versus if you keep trying to build up and trying to counter what they do, then they could potentially cone you, they could potentially throw you off, or whatever the case may be. But if you block them off with ramps as you're ramping up, as I just demonstrated just a minute ago, it makes it very, very easy, because it makes it very, very hard for the other player to try to make a play on you. Granted, it could slow you down depending on exactly how you do it, but when it comes to 90s, the thing about 90s is it takes a little bit more time. This is a really quick way to go in one direction, because with this, you don't have to jump, you don't have to, go over to the side. You can immediately turn to the right or left, and if someone's building up right next to you, you can easily cut them off, and you can easily just build next to them without having them trying to cone you or do anything like that. So that's why I really do like this building technique, because you can use it in a lot of aspects, and there's definitely a lot of variants you can do off of this that makes it a little bit more challenging, a little bit more complicated, but it can be even more effective in games. So this is something that I would highly recommend doing. And so moving on to the third building tip in this video, and this is going to be going back to these type of 90s. And the reason why I like these 90s the most here for for chapter 2 or season 11, whatever you want to call it, the reason why I like these 90s the most is because mat count is going to be crucial, because like I said at the beginning, it's a lot of gunfight on gunfight, build fight on build fight. So you don't have too many, you don't have like bounce pads, you don't have impulse grenades, stuff like that can kind of pattern your mat count just a little bit. So mat count is going to be everything. So when you're using these 90s, it can save you a little bit of materials, and a little bit of materials after gunfight gunfight after gunfight can add up in the duration of the game. So this could be a very good way to save materials. So I would highly recommend learning these type of 90s and saving your materials. And the best way to do this is once you get up on your ramp towards the upper left side, you want to make a 90-degree turn, not with your body but with your right analog stick, and then you want to look directly up and directly down. And when you do this, it's going to place the wall, the ramp, and the floor. And once you do that, you jump, go forward, and then once you get to about 3/4 up the ramp, you do the exact same motion. Now this does take a little bit of practice to get down right away, because it might be a little bit confusing for those of you guys who've never done it this way and only used the wall behind you, because this is, I would say, just a little bit more challenging than the other one, because the other one is, or I guess the basic 90s you can say, are really, really easy, but doing it this way can save you materials, and it's just as fast, if not just a little bit faster. So that's why I recommend doing 90s this way. It saves you a little bit more mats, it's the same speed, if not faster, and you really just have way more benefits doing this way. But like I said, it is a little bit more challenging to get down at first, especially if you've never done these type of 90s. And I covered this in a video quite a long time ago, but it was really important. I think a lot of you guys should learn that technique. So going into my fourth building tip for the season, and this is just going to be a double ramp, double floor, and double wall, because there's so many gunfights that you have in this game, and it's a lot of build fights. And when you're in these build fights, it could be solos, duos, and squads. You really do have to worry about people shooting you out. So you need to learn how to connect as many builds as possible and be able to use as many builds to kind of pattern your build and make it even harder for the other player to shoot you down. Because for me personally, I play PC with controller. I run up against keyboard and mouse players who like to build skyscrapers every single fight, and this is super annoying to deal with. And sometimes you do have to overuse your materials just to build up for high ground, because the other PC player I'm going against likes to build up like 15 stories, and if you get shot down, you're immediately toast. And the RPGs in this game are on green and blue rarity, so there's a ton of them, so you really do have to worry about a lot. So to do this, I prefer to go from left to right, and once you go left to right, you go left, over, and then you go right. So you go left, right, and then left. And if you go from the right side first, you place the right ramp first. It's right to left to right to left. So basically you go in 3 different directions. If you go start from the left, you go left, right, left. And if you're on the right, you go right, left, right. And I prefer to stay on the left. I don't know if it's because of the right hand peak, it makes it a little bit easier, but it definitely feels a little bit more comfortable to do it that way. But I can do it both ways if need be. And this is something that is really not too difficult to do, since you do have turbo building. and it will just take, for those of you guys who not really do or don't really do this too much in your fights, it might just take just a little bit of practice. But with turbo building and the right technique, you guys can get this down very easily and very fast. And there's so many different techniques and there's so many different variants that you can do off of this that really do make it even more challenging to do, but also makes it a lot harder to get shot down, because that's the most important, and that's why I think I stress this enough. And I know this is definitely pretty easy for a lot of you guys, but the reason why I wanted to include it was because getting shot down in this chapter is something that I see quite a bit, and since there is no impulse grenades, shockwaves, or anything like that, I think it's really important to add in this video. And last thing I want to cover is the best, I would say the best in the game when it comes to protecting your back. So sort of like a high ground retake. Yeah, I'll consider it as a high ground retake. I would say this is the best in the game. So you're building up, and as you're building up, you want to turn around, place wall, and then after you place that wall, you want to place a cone on top. And the reason why this is very good, the reason why this is very effective, is something you guys should do in your games, is because once you do this, you pretty much don't lose any speed at all, because you just jump, turn around, and then you continue running. So you don't lose any speed whatsoever. And also at the same time, if you ever want to, turn around, do like a 180 and then try to fight the other player, it's just going to give you that extra buff of protection. So you're not going to get shot from above, and you're not going to get shot if they're directly behind you. So this could be very good for a lot of reasons. So I think it's one of the easiest high ground retakes to do in the game, but also is the most effective in the game as well. So I really wanted to cover and break this down on exactly how to do it, because it is not the hardest thing to do once you get the hang of it. So as you're building up, you're placing a ramp above you, a ramp below you, so you're trying to go for high ground. So what you want to do is, as you're ramping up, you want to turn behind you, and you want to place a wall right above you and also to your side. Then you also want to place a cone on top, and as you turn around, you want to place a floor and continue running. And I'm going to show you guys exactly why this is very effective. So as I'm building up, you can see from the high ground perspective that I have, it's basically impossible for me to get a shot on you unless I have the craziest angle on you. And this is something you can do either to the right or left. I prefer to stay on the left side and do it so I stay on the left side, I turn around to the right and do it. It just feels more comfortable, and that's just the way I prefer to do it. And here it is in slow motion, just in case it may have seemed a little bit confusing. It's slowed down here, and that's exactly how you want to do this high ground retake. And I hope that made a lot more sense. And that's going to be the last high ground retake in this video. And with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.